Boom, yeah. Welcome to the Wednesday call, baby. My name is Clay Mertes, coming to you from Burlington, North Kakalaki in the Alliance corporate office here. We are fired up as we have ever been, and we are back, baby. We are so back. For those of you that doubted us and bet against us, you bet wrong, baby. You bet against a bad group of we're just excited, man. We are just so pumped up, all the things that are going on here at the corporate office. And I'm excited to share some updates with you. I'm excited to share some just crazy stories, some war stories from Mike Lewantowicz. I'm excited to share some stories of success and winning through the holidays from Belle, Crause. So I'm not going to be here doing this thing alone. And I commend you today for jumping on the TWC, which we do every single Wednesday at this time, 12:30 Eastern. So good job being on here, especially with how much craziness I'm sure you got going on in your life. But this is a commitment to your business, a commitment to you. My name is Clay Mertes. I'm the Director of Sales here at the Alliance Corporate Office. And my role essentially is to help people and mow sales. So if we got mow people and mow sales happening here at the Alliance Corporate Office, I'm doing a good job. And how we do that is by finding the most ambitious, focused, and urgent people we can here at the Alliance Corporate and in our agency. So I'm excited to share some gold nuggets with you. I'm excited to hear from these winners that we have on the call today. And I'm excited for all the crazy progress we've got going on. Thank you, Andy, for having me on the call today. This is Andy's baby. He's been doing this thing. Like I've got the privilege to do it 2 weeks in a row. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it is a lot of work to prepare and to get your mind right and to pour into people. And he has been doing this for, as far as I'm aware, daggone 15 straight years of just every week preparing messages for y'all. So I'm so grateful that he's sharing that opportunity with me to speak with y'all, to be on the TWC. And I'm extremely grateful for our leadership, our managers across the country, trusting me to talk to their people and not screw it up, trusting me to be there to assist in their business to grow. And of course, our entire field force, I'm extremely grateful for you. Here at the corporate office, we are crystal clear that our jobs would not exist without you. Like, dude, I know without you, we do not exist. So seriously, thank you so much for going out and fighting the daggum war on poverty, for fighting to win for your family every week, for fighting to grow a business, because we're in it together. We're in it together when it comes to the bumps, when it comes to the bruises, when it comes to the wins. And what I want you to know about some of the craziness we've been going through this week is we just got a damn good story. We got a damn good story that we can tell. And you're going to hear some more war stories and some things we've been through from Mike. But dude, this added to the list of things that have been speed bumps, maybe brick walls that we have absolutely just run through. I'm going to filter myself. If you got any children in the car, I might let one slip out. All right. So seriously, like this is a story on our pathway to greatness. And that's how I view it. And really, we view it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to run past the people that are walking, or maybe they got their daggum feet stuck in concrete. We are going to freaking run past them and smoke them. And so I hope you view this the same way we do, as an opportunity to win, an opportunity to kill it. And really, the process is what this is all about, right? The process is where you become the person. The process creates the person, not the results. So if something small like what we went through the last week derails you, I got good news and bad news. The good news is if you quit, you won't have any other derailments. The bad news is we got more of these coming in the future. It's going to happen again, not this exact situation, but a speed bump. So the question for you is, how are you going to handle that speed bump? When you hit a little speed bump that messes up your business, shakes things up, are you going to run through that like a crazy person, like a Belle Crause, where you're putting up 100,000 during a holiday? Or are you going to let that thing slow you down and you're going to slowly creep over it and everybody passed by you when you go over that speed bump? So really, we're getting mental toughness right now. This adversity we're having, it's drawing us closer as a team. And I tell you, our enemies, our competitors, our doubters, they better watch the hell out, because we are coming. Because you can make adjustments or you can make excuses. I had a football coach when I was a kid, and whenever we would give him an excuse, he would say the same thing every time. He'd say, excuses are like assholes. We all got them, and they all stink. What are you going to make excuses? You're going to make adjustments and let's go. And that's what we've done here at the Alliance. We've made some damn adjustments. We've made some stuff happen. And as you've probably noticed, we're back online. We've got things cooking. I got to give it up to Robbie and his IT team. I was telling him, I was like, thank God I have no IT skills, like just none. I'm useless because my week would have looked different. Appreciate all the positive texts, but dude, I didn't do any programming, and thank God I didn't have to. We have a badass team that was doing some serious programming across the weekends, nights. They've just like barely slept, barely seen their families. And it's to the point where Robbie had to kick them out at one point, like go sleep just a little bit. So that way you can come back focused and fired up. And they've just been killing it. And so you've seen that we are back online with our commission systems. Everybody got paid. We didn't miss a step on that. Our contracting is back live. Woohoo! So you can now contract, you can fast track, you can get people started. Our reporting is back live. Woohoo! You can see where you're at, your leaderboard, you can see your production, you can see all that. All our carrier information is back live. You can see what carrier to write, what to write, the guides each carrier has, so you can access that through ARC. Virtually all of our critical systems are back and rolling, baby. You can't keep us down for long. If you're going to attack us, you're going to have to attack harder. Please don't attack harder. But seriously, like our IT team, they just got together and just absolutely attacked this thing and have done incredible work. And you can see it now. Like this was not a small thing. This was a big thing, but they treated it like a damn small thing and whooped its ass. And here we are, we back. Couple critical systems coming soon. We'll have Alliance University back as soon as possible. People asking about AML. We're working on that right now. What I would tell you for those people that are stuck in AML limbo, if you can do LIMRA, do LIMRA. Get your LIMRA mind right. See if that qualifies. I know that works with Great Western. They accept that. We've helped a few other agents through that. So if you can get them on an AML, get them on an AML. We'll have ours back up. But don't let small stuff like that stop you. Get your people back moving. Get them back rolling when it comes to making money. So I expect an influx of recruits now that our contracting is back live. Our recruiters the last 24 hours have had an absolute record day because they have been filling the pipe. The pipe's been closed, but they have been like getting everybody to the starting line of that pipeline. And I expect an absolute record week from those guys. Calling you out right now, boys. And seriously, they've been filling the pipeline. It's time to get them through and out and making money. And the same is true for our field force. I expect a record week from y'all from a recruiting standpoint, just because it's like an extra week. It's like a double week. Now, this is crazy. And this shows, this is a testament to our organization of people continuing to kick ass and to go do stuff. We had a top 10 in the history of the ARC deposit day today. So what I mean by that is we had a top 10 amount of money we paid out to our agents today. That's crazy. Like if you think about what we went through last week with everything being jacked up, everything being crazy, to hit a top 10 day says a lot about you. It says a lot about your attitude and how you deal with adversities. You did not let it stop you. Now, what I want to tell you today is we got this magical thing called momentum. It's kind of like when something bad happens in a football game and maybe you're like, just something bad happens and you make a big play or you battle through it, like you got a sack and, after that sack, we converted a first down. Now you got momentum and now we got energy because we overcame an obstacle. So we have overcome an obstacle as an organization and as a leadership team. And now the challenge is to carry that momentum through the holiday season, to carry that momentum through December, which a lot of people, again, coming back to my excuses, a lot of people make excuses. It is a holiday, not a holla week. Hell no, it ain't no holla month. This is like a holiday, and it's our time to win it. And believe it or not, every single year, we have people put up some insane numbers because A, they believe in themselves. B, they might be trying to win an all-expense paid trip. You might be this close or you might be this close. You still got a shot, and the time is now to push. But I promise you, every single year, November and December, you'd be like, that must be down months for those sales folks. Nope. because our leaders get their minds right, they get excited, and they absolutely power through. Now, that's not to be said to say that not everybody has that mindset. There's some people that lay down, but I'm telling you right now, you don't want to be one of those people because it does not matter. In fact, you could argue that this is a better time to sell insurance. Why? People around their family, they love their family. Their hearts are full from the holiday season. They got the holiday spirit on up in them. This is the time to sell. This is the time to put your foot down on the pedal to absolutely kill it. So the folks you're going to be hearing from, Mike Lewantowicz and Belle Crause, are going to lay down some logic. They're going to lay down some rationale. They're going to lay down some stories of winning in hard times and what it takes and what the Alliance has been through and how to absolutely continue to conquer these challenges that we have, because that's all they are. They're challenges, kind of like an objection. Objection's a question, not necessarily an objection or a stopping point. You just have to power through it. And you, as a leader and as an organizer of people, it's your job to continue inspiring and continue people moving. Okay. We, as an organization, we here at the corporate office are committed and determined to reach our goals, which I said last week, and I'm going to say it again so I continue hanging myself by my own tongue, is that we are going to have 100 issue paid legs by this March 2024. 100 issue paid legs, new legs. My recruiters, my team, Robbie Kraft, our organization is putting our freaking foot down to the pedal, and we're going to do it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it happens, and hopefully it happens before March. So I'm throwing the gauntlet down for all of our people out there. What kind of goals and what kind of expectations are you setting of your people through this time? Is it, oh, we just got to survive? Or is it, hey, no, this is when we put our foot down and absolutely explode from a production, from a recruiting standpoint, from everything we're doing? All right, before I get Mike Lewantowicz on, I want to promote to y'all, we had some insane training with Andy Albright yesterday. Just absolutely incredible. Getting to hear how he recruits, how he filters and sorts, how he's talking to people as he's getting them in, and also his mindset and his strategy. We're doing another session of that today. Now, I promoted this to my President's Club. Those are people that are committed to their business, that financially pay into their business. And all those President's Club people got an invite. Now, I might have snuck on some people, and you might have snuck on some people, but now I'm sneaking everybody on. So I'm going to make a post, or Stephanie Lee's actually going to make a post in Facebook. And if you're interested in hearing Andy's live recruiting, how he gets people started, how he talks to people, that's going to be this afternoon at 2:30 till 4 o'clock. We're going to post the Zoom link in the Alliance Facebook. Get on there. I don't care if you're in President's Club or not. It's for President's Club people, but you can get an idea of what the elite, what the badass people, the information they're getting, so you can see the value that you get when it comes to President's Club. So that's going on Facebook. That starts at 2:30 today. That'll be Andy just absolutely lighting it up. And to be clear, we ain't juicing it. These are ZipRecruiter responders. These are booked interviews that we have set for him that any of our recruiters would have. Now, to be clear, we set him up more than just one. And that's kind of a big message Andy has. He's like, bro, why I'm good at this is not because, but he's a good recruiter, but not because something special, like some secret sauce he's got. He's just doing more, and he's more efficient, and he's more aggressive, and he's more urgent. So how do you duplicate that? How close can you get to that duplication of Andy? And I want you to watch, and I want you to see the man work so you can get just a little bit closer to Andy and his prowess when it comes to recruiting and his aggressiveness. All right, so that's happening today. Back to killing it here in the ARC. I have known Mike and Noel Lewantowicz the entire time I've been at the Alliance, and I call them Alliance OGs. OG stands for Original Gangster. For my people that don't know what OG means, he's been around since the early days. Here's how you know he's been around a while. He got a daggum NAA number with 3 zeros in the front of it. I have him and Noel's NAA number memorized. That's how you know. Yeah. So they've been around for a minute. Now, you could say, well, they have more time to kill it than me. Well, if your organization is not bigger than them, you cannot talk junk to them. Okay. So Mike and Noel's organization is doing well over 600,000 in production a month, not a year, a month. Okay. And when you do that, you're a senior board member too. You get a little two stripes on there for Mike and Noel. So they're doing massive volume. And the thing I appreciate the most about Mike and Noel Lewantowicz is just their dedication to the business, the dedication to their team. They're so relational based. I went out and saw them last year, and they just treated me like family, put me up, gave me a daggone whiskey tasting. Just unbelievable people on top of their crazy productivity. So with that being said, Mike Lewantowicz, thanks for being on the call today, man.
All right. Hey, happy to be here. And, you hate when crap happens, but there's something cool that happens. It's like Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you get to see who's been skinny dipping. And so when the first shells come in, you get to see who your foxhole buddies really are and who's really got your back. And so while we weren't wishing having some junk happen, you certainly get to see who the players are that are standing up and fighting, and who's getting shell shocked and just sitting there crawled up in a ball and crying, So anyways, we got Warriors, and I'm glad to know we see both Robbie and the team that's there and seeing their update. That's really cool. So happy to be part of that. This ain't our first battle either. This ain't our first time we had crap happen. And I think when you're in business for yourself, you have to have this fight instinct, because you are going to get punched somehow, some way, at some point. Something is going to disable part of your operations or your cash flow, something at some point. So are you mentally prepared? Do you have the mental toughness? Do you have what it takes? And I can give you, and I'll go back and I'll pull up some things that we've had to fight through at times. We can laugh about it now. At the time, we weren't necessarily laughing when stuff happened. We're starting to laugh a little bit about whatever happened last week now, but we still got more fight to get through. So anyways, and the first thing is, I've talked to anybody when they saw the arc down and said, hey, relax, guys, our business is running. I mean, it's like I told people, it's like we're driving a car and we still got four wheels. We still got gas in the tank. We still got an engine. We still got a steering wheel. The only thing is they put some duct tape over our dashboard or took out the odometer, speedometer, tachometer. I just can't tell you how fast we're going or how far we're going, but I know we're going in the right direction. Right. So in the grand scheme of things, this is a small thing. Even though appearance-wise it could look big, it's like this isn't like in 2008 when we got a call that one of our carriers was like not able to issue any more business ever again. And at that point, we only had 3 carriers. So to lose one of our major ones, and then the other one said, we're not going to issue any more term products. And so we went from having 3 carriers that could write term products to only one in the course of about 2 months. That was a little scary. Here we just got some, it's like, okay, somebody turn the lights off for a little bit, but we're still rolling. So anyways, I think perspective is important. And you look at what happened. You talk about the battle that we had in 2009, end of 2008 and 2009. The battle that we had at that point when the world financially was shutting down was real. And kudos to Andy again for bringing in Jim Henson, who in the course of 6 months brought on, I think, 5 or 6 different carriers in that window of time. In that window of time, Jim Henson brought to us Mutual Omaha, Columbian Financial Group, Transamerica, and a few others that have become strong players with us today. And so we're very, very grateful for, what that got us scared to think that was 14 years ago or almost 15 years ago. But that was a real battle. And we found out how to win. We found out how to work through stuff, a little bit of an all hands type of thing. But so there's stuff that can happen on a big scale. There's stuff we've battled with. I can get real personal and tell you about Noel and I and things that mistakes, or you say mistakes, opportunities, things that happened, right? Whether it was our fault or not. But in fact, I got to pick on our friends at Forrester's. The technology that's out there is pretty unbelievable, and Forrester's has been pretty good at helping us with technology. But back then, they had a piece of technology that we had never seen before. And it was a fax machine that was connected. You know how they have those multi-function devices like fax, copier, and printer? Well, they had a fax shredder And so we would fax in our new business requirements, and Foresters had it connected to a shredder, so that way nobody actually had to handle the paper. That was their first paperless system for processing our new business requirements. Now, I'm probably going to get a call or text from someone at Forest saying, is that real? I said, yeah, they actually have archived this device, and it's in the basement of the building there up at Foresters. So anyways, but you kid, like we kind of kid, but we had to come up with a story because we would fax stuff to Foresters as our volume was growing with them, and they couldn't find it. We'd be like, okay, Sue, I'm going to turn on my fax machine. I need you to go to intercept the document I'm faxing over so it doesn't fall into the shredder. Can you promise? No, put on your cell phone. I know you can't carry your desk phone across the hall, but please catch this fax. And so we would build friends of people, like, and we would kid around. We realized, okay, it really wasn't a shredder, but they would lose crap. So if we didn't have somebody grabbing a fax, it was a disaster. But we learned to build relationships and make sure stuff could happen. We talk about leads. So Oasis has got a hiccup, but you know what? Thanks for the lead team. Thank you for Cindy Seal, who's found a way to get everybody that's got GMRs to make sure their leads are going to them. So if you're like, I got a GMR, I ain't got my leads, check your inbox, check your junk mail, check your spam folder. They're probably there. If not, get a hold of Caitlin. Maybe you're on the naughty list from Santa's Elves. I don't know. But bottom line is, if you've got a GMR, they should be coming in. So with that said, hey, these bastards that took down the ark, they kind of did some of you a favor because they shut down the lead billing for a little bit. So some of you are like, it's not all bad. There's, it's like there's a silver line to anything. So now, to be clear, they're tracking the leads that you got, and you will have a balance owed at some point. They just, we ain't got it there yet. So hey, so some good news to some of you that have your GMR. In fact, you might double up and go grab more leads from the integrity portal because you got your free GMR coming in. Why not run up the score and make it a hell of a Christmas? Some of y'all have been saying, well, I would just increase my GMR or get more leads if I could afford it. Well, how can you not afford it now? You ain't got a lead bill. Crank it up. Okay. Speaking of leads, we used to get the original leads would come into the Alliance, and they would put them in a UPS pack and send them out to the agency managers. And so UPS, when Noel and I were in this stage, we had a townhouse that did not have a doorbell. This is before you had Ring doorbells. You could just install it. It did not come with a doorbell. So we would have to hear the door knocking when the UPS guy would show up. But we had this 3-level townhouse, and the lower levels where our office was, and we did not typically hear the door knock. So we would try to listen for it. And sometimes, we'd be like, he should have been here by now. We'd go up and we'd see the the original OG missed delivery notice from UPS, unlike ours. And I'd be like, oh, crap. So I would literally get in my car and try to find the brown truck that had left the message and try to track him down and find out his path. I finally found out what his route was. So I found out I could drive faster than him, and I would go and try to track him down. Say, hey, Bo, because if I just called the number, they say, oh yeah, he'll be back at dispatch here about 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, and you can pick up your package tomorrow morning. I'm like, you don't understand. I need these leads. I need them now because I have to get them and scan them or fax them to my agents. And where is he? So finally, I got one of our driver's cell phone numbers. I made sure I gave him gift certificate. I mean, we got him Starbucks cards. We're like, we love you. Don't ever leave a sticky note again, please. I don't like having to chase you driving traffic. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. So that was a real thing we had to do. And this just came up once in a while. It was like, oh my gosh, you got to not do this to us. Here's another lead distribution issue we had. Because we got these paper leads, couple of times, I don't know why it was different, but I just remember he left the package on our doorstep. And one time it was raining a lot. And these were original pieces of paper, and they were pink at the time. And people would write on it with ink. And so we open up the pack, and instead of saying, Belle Crause, it would be like, is what it would look like because all the blurred ink on there in some cases. Or we would literally have to take out the 100 and some odd leads and hang them up on a clothesline around our office space to allow them to dry so we could then feed them into a scanner or fax to get them to somebody. I said, this is like real stuff that we had to do. And to get it dry enough so you get to feed it into some kind of scanning device to distribute them. Talk about leads. And they're valuable, so I always took it seriously. By the way, I've got to talk about this because as we're talking about some of the crazy stuff that people are doing over the last week to overcome, there's a book, I have not heard anybody talk about it lately. This is a book I read before the Alliance. And it was a powerful book because I got it. I understood the story. And some of y'all may know the book, but it talks about this guy who was on a mission to find this blue vase. It was of extremely high value, and it was his job to go find this blue vase. I won't tell you the rest of the story. The book is called The Go-Getter, and it's written by a guy named Peter Kyne. Peter and then Kyne, Kyne. It's one of the books it's recommended reading in the 8 Steps book. It's a very short read, but if you or people on your team have not read that, oh my gosh, you need to read it. If you've got kids that can read, especially like, I'm not going to call out any one of my kids. I want to call one out right now, but I won't. I won't embarrass one of my kids right now. But it's like, I was like, one needs help learning when and how to do his chores without being prodded or stop using it. She's like, hey, I need to get this book for her or him or whatever it is to read. Don't want to, reveal the identity of which one I'm thinking about, but they need to read this book. And so I will tell you, if you're thinking or struggling with your mindset going through whatever stuff has happened in your business, read The Go-Getter. Like this guy, he took excuses away from himself. And so that would be the one thing to think about is work on your mindset to properly get that piece figured out. It's just huge. So if you've not read it, please get it. Please go after that. Other things that we had happen. When we were rolling and growing, and Andy had just built the mail house and was changing some things, and it said, hey, we found this new way of getting better data for leads. It's called court research. He says, we're getting great responses. I said, man, that sounds really good. I'd like to get some of that in Kentucky. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. What do we got to do? He says, look, if you can turn on what we call now a GMR for the whole state, I'll get all of those to you. I'm like, well, sure. What could go wrong? Sometimes things can work too good. Mm-hmm. And so our leads started coming. And we had been maybe getting, say, 50, 60 a week. Next thing you know, we start getting 100 a week. Then it's like the UPS pack that they would send them in. I've noticed like it was totally full. In fact, they actually couldn't use the seal on the letter pack. They actually just kind of folded it over and duct taped or that clear packing tape to seal it up so they could still call it a letter. So they didn't have to pay full postage. But then I noticed we started getting 2 UPS packs. Each one was like a bloody ream of paper. And we're like, oh my gosh. Our lead bill, because we were taking these on thinking we're going to recruit enough agents to take all these leads. But we didn't have the agents to take them all in Kentucky. Our lead bill started to hit $10,000 a week for us. Just overrides. Now, I had a choice to make. Noelle and I had a choice to make. This is where everybody thinks, oh, they're a perfect, polished couple. Now, this is where we were like crying and screaming at each other. What the F did we agree to? Why are we doing this? This sucks on the inside to ourselves. But we also at the same time recognize the opportunity to put our big pants on and figure a way out. And so we said, well, what's our credit balance? Okay, great. Because we weren't bringing in $10,000 in revenue. So like, this is a mistake. We had pride and we weren't going to back down. We weren't going to wuss out with Andy because we knew he did some things to stick his neck out. And I never wanted to be that guy that somebody couldn't count on. I figured, hey, we're at war. And, first thing is I didn't want to let myself down. Second, I wasn't going to let my family down. I wasn't going to let our team down where I started to make commitments to. And I wasn't going to let the bigger team, which included Andy, down. And I think when you get hit, that's one of the things you just got to start asking yourself. Do you have enough pride to not let yourself, your family, your team, or the bigger team down? And so if you're feeling any of that, and you can tell people that have that kind of pride or fight in them, like Robbie Kraft. So many people don't know he just had a baby 2 weeks ago. And he probably planned to have a chill week hanging out with his wife. God bless Liz, and it's like, I appreciate the fact that she's given Robbie freedom to go out and do what's going on, as here they are with their third child. And so, hey, man, I'm sure Robbie's got 100 things he'd rather be doing, but he's not going to let the bigger team down. And so that was part of our mindset. So we got creative. I mean, we figured, okay, how are we going to shore up cash flow or manage cash flow while we're going through this? But number two, we're like, okay, we are getting these leads. Let's not lose sight of the opportunity. And what can we do to tear up our recruiting? What can we do to double down on our recruiting? Somebody said, well, I need to cut back on my recruiting budget. No, we're like, we need to increase our recruiting budget, do more interviews and more staff so we got more agents to utilize this resource that we've committed to. And what's crazy is that time when we turned that on, April 1st of at the time at 04 through September, October, November of 04, the work we put in was the biggest level of growth we'd had in our team. Like, we'd made $179,000 in 2003 in revenue. We made over 400 in 04, with most of it in the second half where we had the momentum. I think our split was we made maybe 100,000 the first 6 months and 300,000 the second. And the next year in 05, we clocked in over 600,000 in revenue because the momentum we built in 2004 because of this mistake. But it wasn't the mistake or the problem or the avalanche of leads. It was how we responded to it. And so if you're sitting here and you're thinking, you're wondering, it's like, hey, how are you going to respond to that? And what's the opportunity in all this? And how do you stay focused on the prize when you're battling? And as we started, it got worse before it got better. It didn't, just because we decided we're going to work through this and we had a strategy and execution, it didn't look pretty from April through August. We didn't turn the tide of become cash flow positive on that for about 4 months. But each month or each week, we saw we were getting gradually better. Like, okay, there's measurable progress. Let's go. We got this. We can pull this off. So that's the kind of stuff I would tell you. We were focused, we were ambitious, and we had a sense of urgency back then. I would ask you, maybe you can use this as an opportunity to increase your ambition. Are you really focused on doubling? If you've got 10 issued paid legs, if Andy can take it from 20 some issued paid legs now to 100 by the end of March, why can't you go from 5 to 10? Why can't you go from 10 to 20? And if you're here and you're listening, you're like, I'm not looking to build a team. I say, okay, can you go from doing 10,000 issued to 20,000 issued? Can you take part of the same fight that some of us are jumping into? And can you expand where you want to go? To do it for yourself, to do it for your family, to do it for the team that you may be leading, or can you do it for the bigger team and inspire somebody else that's coming up to speed with your growth? Those are some big things I would share with you.
I'm glad you told that lead story, man. I was hoping, because you've told me that before when I was running leads, and you were like, bro, we got a badass system right now. Let me tell you some stories. And you told me that story, I don't know how many years ago. And I was like, oh my God. So I was hoping you were going to tell that story. Can you tell them some, like, you know how a weightlifter uses chalk to prevent their hands getting ripped up? You mentioned the go-getter. What are some other like resources or strategies you have for like keeping your mind right and maybe keeping your team's mind right?
So strategies. Number one, acknowledging reality. Okay. And that can mean the good and the bad, right? So it's like, okay, what happened? What capacity did we lose? What capacity do we still have? Just being really direct. I think I love the fact that Robbie and Andy have been doing that, with updates for the last week. So you got to do that. Hey, recognize, hey, we're still in business. Hey, we're not out of business. We just got some dumb stuff to work through. Carriers are issuing business. Well, I can't get to the e-app as easily. Or, for CFG, we got to use paper apps. Okay. So what? We got to use some paper apps. Ain't no big deal. They're still issuing business. So ain't no big deal. Right. And so I think acknowledging what's dysfunctional, if there is something. The second thing is, it's like, so I was live at the Patriots Super Bowl win when they came back against the Falcons. They're down 28-3. And I've gone back and watched like the NFL sound clips or whatever they call that, with people mic'd up, and you got Julian Edelman on the sideline. He's telling Tom Brady, it's going to be a hell of a story. It's going to be a hell of a story. They're down 21-3. Then they're down 28-3. It's going to be a hell of a story. I'm like, And so I think if you're feeling at all affected by anything, that's the first thing. Or maybe you've got a different situation. It's going to be a hell of a story. It's going to be a hell of a story. And so I think that's the first big piece. Second piece is, okay, if it's a time when I know it's going to take more effort from me, or we're working through something, I tell the people close to me that are going to be affected, because if I know I have to put more time in, I got to let people know. So whether it's talking to your kids, your spouse, other family. So if it's a case of, hey, this Thanksgiving, I am not where I want to be for my Alaska points. Okay. So Thanksgiving's a meal. Some people say it's a holiday. No, it's a holiday meal. It's not even a freaking day. It's how long do you need to chow down? And then move on. There's people that are going to run appointments tomorrow. Are you? And I'm not saying you should. To be clear, somebody's going to take this out of context. And Mike said, I should run appointments on Thanksgiving. No. I said, you should take account and inventory of your goal and where you're at, and then say, what's my minimal obligations I have to meet to keep my family happy? And what can I do in and around that? So maybe you are taking the entire day off. So be it. Awesome. Good job. What are you doing Friday? Do you have a dial session planned? When I was not making $500,000 or $1 million a year, I would take the Friday after Thanksgiving to make phone calls to book appointments for Saturday and Sunday. So I would have all of Thanksgiving Day. I would work the Friday after until noon to get my appointments booked. And I'd spend the rest of Friday with my family. And then Saturday and Sunday, I was running appointments. That's how I did it. You ain't got to do like me. But I'd love to see you on the cruise, and I'd hate for you to use that as an excuse to not be on the cruise, right? I'd hate for you to not win. And then are you mapping out? Here's the next picture. I got somebody who said, I'm going to do some big things. In fact, I'll give him credit because I think he's working and more focused on. I've seen him. Tad Peterson came out of Breakthrough, and he said, I've got some big goals. So what are they? I said, okay, well, let's map out your schedule for the entire quarter from now through NatCon. Let's pick what you're going to do each holiday, each Sunday. He's like, I got this 1 3-day hunting trip with my dad. I said, great, do it. But let's make sure before and out of that, let's make sure every day is accounted for, whether it's a dial day, an appointment day, if it is a day off or not, and account for every day. And if it's a dial day, how many appointments are you booking for those next 2 days? And while he's not had, I'm not going to say he's had perfect execution. He's had pretty good execution of honoring each of those days to live it like he planned it. So if you're here and you've got a big goal, I said, what are you doing to literally take out a month at a glance calendar, whether it's the one in the activity book or one of your own? I don't care if you have to draw it out yourself, but to account for every day. Today's the 22nd of November. Can you account from every day now through the 25th or 26th of January? And set up a plan, go over it with somebody that will tell you the truth. Don't show it to your little pink stuffed animal. I'll say, here, little stuffed animal, here's what show it to someone, give you some feedback and help correct you. Mm-hmm. And then, dear God, communicate and let them know how it's working.
Yeah.
Those are some tools I've got. Definitely staying connected. I had somebody call me one-on-one time Friday. What's going on with the ARC? I said, were you on the TWC? No. So was you on our call where we had, we built our own site to handle EAPs before the ARC team had done that. I was like, were you there? No. Were you on the activity call this morning with the update? Oh, no. Well, I tried to find it, but I figured since the ARC went, I said, dude, I tried. This guy needs to read the Go-Getter because I tried. I said, did you call anybody? I mean, he might be listening. He might not be. I don't know. I wanted to wring his neck. I said, dude, we're at war, and you're telling me you tried to find out where the activity call was? It's been on freaking YouTube every God blessed day for the last few years. And you're trying? You couldn't find it? Did you call your mama? She might know better. But don't freaking ask for one-on-one attention if you can't take a little bit of time to educate yourself. I said, I love you. You're one of my favorite agents, but there's your dose of truth.
Hey, so I'm glad you're on my team. We're gonna kill these terrorists, man.
I was like, so, and if I hurt somebody's feelings for that, I apologize. I'm glad you're here. Listen, I'm glad you're on your team. We need you, whether you're writing 1 app a month or 100 apps a month. We need you. We want you here.
Damn right. Damn right. Well, dude, seriously, I'm glad I'm on your team, brother. And your tenacity, your focus, your determination is what we need more of, Mike Lewantowicz.
Hey, glad to have you with us.
Thank you, brother. That is Mike Lewantowicz. Some serious nuggets, and you've heard it. We've been through some stuff, right? And so this is not the first time, and this is not the last time. And we're going to get hit with them again. It's kind of how life goes, right? You've just had so much stuff happen in your life. More bad stuff is coming. That's the bad news. The good news is we are going to get through it. And it helps when you got a team that is focused, that is like-minded, that has similar goals as you. So I hope you feel like you've got that team here at the Alliance, because I know, especially after hearing Mike talk, I'm just like, yeah, we are in this together, and we are going to win together in this war on poverty. Now, Mike touched on it, the holiday season that's coming up, the holiday meal that we got tomorrow. And again, he's not attacking you. He's attacking your goals of like if you are saying you want to achieve this and do this, then back the work up, back the mentality, back everything up to what you're saying. Now, somebody that has backed up what she's about with her production is Belle Crause and her husband, Jake Crause. They are incredible people. They are war heroes. They have laid it on the line for America. So they know a thing or two about cover fire. They know a thing or two about being in the trenches with people. And it's that value and that experience that we as a team and as an organization are just value so much. Now, again, like Mike, not only are they good people, they're extremely productive. They're vice presidents here at the Alliance. I had the pleasure of hanging out with Jake 2 weeks ago when he was here as a part of that elite group, Belle. And it was just so fun hanging out with him and working with him and talking to some of his guys and all the crazy excitement you have. Now, Belle, last year, if you want somebody, an excuse buster, you look at her report and there is just like a line up on her personal production in November of last year. And she did over 100,000 in personal daggum production during a slow time for some people. It was a high time. She was Megan Damn Hay last November. And so when it comes to pushing through holiday excuses and the things that we have going on, commitments, stuff like that, Jake and Belle Crause are the example. So please welcome to the call today, Belle Crause.
Thank you so much for that, Clay. And Mike, thank you so much. I'm so fired up. A lot of people, they don't know the behind the scenes going on. I'm over here with pom-poms as Mike's talking and got my signs, going on. It's like, there's something primal about identifying a target and going after it. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I love it. I get chills thinking about it. When we talk about, where we are right now, this is a speed bump. Yes, it's taking a lot of work behind the scenes. And I guarantee you, Robbie Kraft doesn't feel like it's a speed bump right now because he's putting his blood, sweat, and tears in that. But in the overall scheme of things, this is like when your teenager goes out into the driveway and the automatic car is dead and you pull out the stick shift, right? Now they're going to have to go back to old school. So that's one of the beautiful things about the culture here at the Alliance. We have leadership here that has been through it prior to the ARC. So for those that don't know, the ARC came about in about 2019, is getting up and running. But before that, we were still writing business. And so all we had to do was tap into what we used to do. And so a little bit of grandpa's wisdom there, we're reverting back to some paper apps, direct links to the carriers on those e-apps. It really was nothing but a speed bump on this side of it. Now, I know the IT guys are out there and they're working their tails off to get it back online so we can go back to our luxury autopilot type of car that we're used to. But until then, let's get the stick shift out. Yes, you're going to pop the clutch a few times. You're going to have it hopping up and down at a stop sign because you can't feather it just right, but you're going to get through it and you're going to be fine. I promise you. And the reason I promise you is because we're fine. We have a whole team out submitting business last week. Didn't slow them down. Didn't slow them down. A little more communication. Go here instead of there for that link. Go here instead of there for that piece of information. We have your back. Because the Alliance is a team that works together because we all win together. And that's how it is here. And I get fired up about it. I think back to just the concept that we can do hard things. Every one of us on here is an adult. And if you look back over your life, there was a trial, there was a struggle, there was something that you faced that you thought, man, this is really going to take its toll. And you got through it. You got through it, and you can bring that same confidence of victory here that you had in that. There's a story in the Bible of David and Goliath, and everybody seems to know the story of David and Goliath. But before he met up with Goliath, he fought a bear and he fought a lion. And it doesn't talk about it in the Bible, but he was a shepherd. Y'all, there was all kinds of stuff coming after those sheep. I'm sure there were foxes and wolves and whatever else out there. He fought battles along the way. So when he got to Goliath, he had the confidence of the things he had overcome before to know that this is just the next hard thing. So guys, this is just the next hard thing. We're going to come through it better than ever. And I get fired up about what the opportunity is in the hard things, right? Because whenever there's some sort of setback or glitch or complication, you're going to learn some stuff. And what you learn in those moments, what you learn at that time is what is going to empower you to go above and beyond things you could have ever done before the lesson. So embrace the lesson, take it for what it is, and then use it as fuel for your jetpack to spring forward from there. So again, I see the holiday season as an opportunity for several reasons. You've been working all year, at least most of us have. And now this is the culmination of what you started back in January, moving forward. One of the things that I want to bring up is military tactics. Some of you may know Jake and I both served in the military, and I draw a lot from that experience. When you are in an ambush, right? Like that's a sucker punch, like out of nowhere. You're going along in your convoy, and then there's this ambush. There's a section of that ambush, and it is known as the kill zone. It is the kill zone. It's when they've waited for enough of that convoy to get into that kill zone before they execute. And the enemy thinks they've got you dead in the water. But the tactic for an ambush is to move forward as hard and as fast as possible to get out of the kill zone. You cannot stop. Stopping is death. And not only is it death for you, you have now blocked the path for all your battle buddies behind you, and you have trapped them in the kill zone. So I come to you wanting to ask during times like this, what are you fighting for? Are you fighting for something big enough that's going to have you face something that's scary, but know that if I slow down, my buddies are going to die? So because I'm fighting for not me, but my buddies, I have to press forward as hard and as fast as I possibly can, not for my sake, but for theirs. I cannot sign the death warrant for my other comrades, my battle buddies in the trenches alongside me who are willing to face that enemy. I can't clog them up. I can't be the thing that trips them and stops them. They may be the one to go out there and take down that gunner's nest. They may be the one to pass through and circle around and flank the enemy and save the whole team, right? I can't be their stumbling block, because what I'm fighting for is bigger than just a number on a screen. It's bigger than just dollars and cents. I am fighting for the legacy of my family. I am fighting for my friends in this business who trusted us to come on board and said, we have leadership and we have resources. And then the moment that leadership needs to be displayed, well, buddy, we better step up to the desk and display it. It's not leadership if it's never tested. It's not leadership if it's never tested. And we are tested, and we are proving that we have good leadership. We have people that are battle tested, that are pressing forward through the kill zone, and they're making a path for everyone else to get through faster behind them. So I am grateful for Andy Albright. I am grateful for Integrity. I am grateful for Robbie Kraft and all the resources coming to bear on this, because that lets us do our job. That lets us continue to lead our teams. And there's no reason to slow down or stop. No reason. When you come to the holidays, you can literally plan your success. You can plan it out. And I printed this off and I drew it out. You know how people come up with a monthly budget and they spend their money on paper first? Well, this is your time budget. You spend your time on paper first. And I love that Mike talked about helping Tad map out through NatCon. I encourage everyone to always have it 4 weeks, at least 4 weeks, because this is what's going to happen. If you don't have it mapped out, someone's going to call you and say, 2 weeks from now on a Saturday, we're doing a yard sale. Can you come help us? And if you turn to that page on your calendar and it's blank, guess what? You're going to feel obligated to help. You're going to feel, oh, there's nothing on there. Maybe I should. But if you spend your time on paper first, see, I take my Saturdays and I block it off for 10 appointments. And it just says appointment, 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 appointment. I don't have a name on it yet. But when someone calls me and says, what am I doing 2 Saturdays from now? And I flip that over, I have the moral authority to say, nope, I have appointments. Because I do. I just don't have a name on them yet, because I know I'm going to fill it when I do my activity to get there. So spend your time on paper first, and that is crucial this time of year. Y'all know you're going to have certain Christmas festivities coming up. You don't have to go to all of them. Pick the ones that are most important to you and your family, put them on there, and then just take a look at all the white space around it that you could fill in with the activities that get you toward your income goals, towards your trip goals, towards your business goals. There is no reason not to map that out around it, because again, it's a holiday, not a holiday month. And I'm the mom of my household. I've got kids. I've got a husband. We bring the holiday spirit and the holiday cheer in it. We're oftentimes the moms are the driving force behind that. We still do that, but it is all planned out. Nothing is left to chance. When you're on the battlefield of life, you don't leave something to chance, because that's when you get messed up. My granny used to say, if you're busy doing what you should be doing, you don't have time to be doing what you shouldn't. It keeps you where you need to be. So if you spend your time on paper first, that is my biggest keys to success in fourth quarter. Last fourth quarter, we did in personal production, $163,478.12 in personal production last fourth quarter. The last time we took a real battle punch was 2020. Y'all remember 2020 and they're like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling and the world tried to shut down. Not the alliance. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Adjust the sails in the battle. Everybody's got a perfect battle plan. Everybody's got a perfect battle plan into the first bullet flies, right? And then it's like, what do we do here? What do we do there, right? And the alliance knows how to adjust to the climate of the battle. In 2020, when the world started shutting down in March of 2020, I have to tell you, because I was looking back like Mike, and it's like, what were the times that we faced something that was just unheard of and we overcame? So in fourth quarter of 2020 in personal production, $149,987.92. That's right. Just literally $12 shy of $150,000 of personal production, fourth quarter 2020. And because we were fighting so hard in fourth quarter 2020, first quarter 2021, $219,779.36 personal production. First quarter of 2021. The momentum you have now, the momentum you finish with is the momentum you start the next year with. You start the way you finish, right? So if you're out there pressing toward your goals, right, and you're not letting up, then that is going to leave a massive trail into the first quarter of next year. So for those of you that are near earning that trip, hammer down. I got to tell you guys a personal story, and forgive me if I choke up on this. This was about 8 years ago. Actually, it was just prior to us joining the Alliance. My husband and I, we went back to the beach we got married on. We got married out in Destin, Florida, Fort Walton Beach area, Destin, Florida. And there is a military facility out there on a beach. And we took the kids and we went back to that beach we got married on. And it's March, y'all. And March in Florida to Floridians is cold. March in Florida to Washingtonians is summer weather. And so our kids got in the water and they're swimming. And there was a riptide out there that we were unaware of. And we look up and I literally see my daughter on the crest of this wave go under. And she's so far out. My son's screaming and he dives for her and he goes under. And y'all, I'm not a strong swimmer. I could not get in that water because I knew there'd be one more person to rescue. But I watched my husband take off and he dove into that ocean and he swam for everything he's worth. Guys, he was elite military trained. He did underwater operations, right? In case his helicopter goes down, he knows what to do in the battle. And he's swimming for all he's worth. And my kids are getting further and further and further out. And I'm on the shore there and I'm praying and I'm crying and there's no one around. It's March in Florida. There's no one there. And then I see this wave come up and pick up my husband and push him literally almost on top of my children. And he gets them up, he gets their head above water, and they're kind of treading water, still kind of being sucked out, right? But their heads are up. And then they take off swimming in a train. My son's holding my husband's leg, my daughter's holding my son's leg, and they're swimming sideways. And they're swimming and they're swimming. And it took an eternity. I'm standing there, I can't breathe. I can barely see through the tears on my face. And I'm like, I'm going to die on this beach. If this ocean eats my family, I will not move from this spot because how can I walk away from what means the most? And I'm watching them swim and swim. And finally, they start to turn and come towards shore. And they get to the edge where it's probably about waist deep water. And they just collapse on their knees and there's waves hitting in behind them. And they're dragging themselves up out of the water line. And I watch them just collapse there. And they're there. I'm standing there, I'm crying, I'm touching them, and they're there. They're on the shore. My husband rolls over and he said, I didn't think we were going to make it. He said, I thought I was going to die out there because I had nothing left in the tank. But because I was bringing my children home, I could not stop. Could not stop. When you are in the fight for your life, how can you stop? What obstacle is big enough to say, no, this is as far as I can go. Sorry, y'all weren't worth it. How can you not give it every ounce of effort toward what's most important to you? So when you map out your schedule, what is most important on there? And if it's not important that you run 20 appointments, don't come back and say you didn't have time. Be honest with yourself and with us and say it was not a priority. That's okay. There's no judgment in that. There's no judgment if it's not your priority. That's okay. But now we know who we can work with who did put that as their priority. Because as awesome as a mom as I am, as awesome as a wife as I am, I can't help you fix your relationships. That's Jeff Bright's job. It's not my job, right? But if you have a goal in this business and you want a battle buddy, I can do that with you. Come to me with that, and I promise you, we will fight together. I promise you, just like my husband gave every ounce of effort to bring our children out of that water, we will do the same for you in this business. We're not stopping. We're not slowing down. There's no reason why you can't do 100,000 in business this quarter, personal production, if you decide it's worth it. If you decide it's worth it. You know, one of the things I like to do this time of year, and then I'll wrap because I know we've only got a minute left, is I go back through my folder of what I call sat not sold. These are people I've sat appointments with who told me no. And I go back and I call them all because I want to circle back, because we don't know what's changed in their lives. And if you guys want a lay down hand, anybody play poker where you're like, oh, this is the best hand possible, it's a lay down, I got this, right? If you want a lay down hand, you call back through that because they already know you, they already trust you, you're already legit. All you got to do is readdress the need and have that conversation again, because life changes a lot. There were people at their table on Easter that did not live to come to the table at Thanksgiving. Their perspectives have changed. You are not bugging them. You're not bothering them. You are serving them. I challenge each and every one of you this week to go back through the sat not sold and see how much business you write out of that. And the next, what is it? We have 39 days left in this year. How many of those can you serve in the next 39 days? If you're looking for the easy button from someone who's lived it out year after year, that is the easy button, because you've already front loaded the work. So you can make your goals happen. There's resources. There is no excuse that this ARC hiccup is going to slow you down. We got people on our team picking up checks for hundreds of thousands of dollars. We've got things being funded as we speak, millions of dollars changing hands this time of year. Now you can step out in front of it and help catch some of that, or you can just watch everybody else have all the fun. It's up to you. It's up to you. I know what we're doing. I know what the Alliance is doing. I know what our leadership is doing, and we're just following their lead. Clay, that's what I got. I don't know if that's what you wanted, but that's what you got.
That was incredible, Belle. That was incredible. I do have one question for you. And you hammered this a lot, and you talked kind of about why and goals. For somebody that maybe hasn't built up their why or built up their goals like you and Jake have, what would you say is a good starting place of how to maybe get that defined and how to get that framed?
So for me, it was looking at, and it's kind of like the same thing I do in the home with the clients, is it's not necessarily a monetary goal. What is that money going to do for my family? What am I ultimately trying to do with that? When I first started, I wanted to help fund my son's college. That was it. It took money to do that, but the goal was to not slow my son down. And then the goal became, I want my husband to be able to retire from a job that he risks his life doing in very hostile environments. And so just take a look at, what is it in your life that you think if you had resources, you could change and change the trajectory into a more fulfilling, more purpose-filled life. So take a look at what that is. Imagine if you had the resource, would you be working the job that you work? Would you be, would your kids be in the school that they're in? Would you be driving the car? And again, it's not about the car. It's not about the house. It's like, but if you had the option, would your kids be going to a different college? Would your daughter's wedding be paid for? Would she get a different dress if the resources were there? Like, what can you make happen that matters to you and your family? Once you identify that, the rest is just math and scheduling. Identify what is most important to you. I want to take my family. Our 30th anniversary is coming up in April. I want to take my family. I want to rent a mansion on the water in Puget Sound, Seattle area. I want to invite 16 of our closest friends, have a catered dinner, and stay 2 nights in this mansion that I've already found online. It's about $2,100 a night. And that's my next goal. And it's not the money. It's celebrating 30 years of blood, sweat, and tear, fighting side by side with my husband to conquer this war battlefield of life. That deserves honor and respect. And out of honor and respect to him, I'm going to work my butt off because I want that to happen. Because I love him. Because he matters. And because 30 years of marriage is something to be celebrated big. That's my goal.
That's beautiful. That was beautiful. I'm not a big crier, Belle, but that tear was trying to get there, telling your story. Seriously powerful stuff. And again, I'm so glad that you're on our team, that I'm on your team. And everybody listening in, these are the power players in the alliance. These are the people that you're locking arms with, that you're going to war with. I personally am damn glad they are on my team. So thank you, Belle. You killed it.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
So seriously, here at the corporate office, we're just so fired up by everything that's happening and the adversity we're facing. And we view it as an opportunity. We view it as an opportunity to gather momentum, to keep powering through things. Because when you have adversity, when there is a field switch, when something bad happens, you get the chance. How do you view it? How do you view it? You view it as a chance. You view it as bad luck. You view it as like, what is your perspective that you're taking? And so as we close today, I'm going to share some nuggets with you that I stole from Craig Groeschel. He's one of my favorite speakers, podcasters. He's a big time pastor out in Texas. He's got a podcast I'd highly recommend. That's just a leadership podcast where he talks about things to help you develop and help you grow. It's in a somewhat Christian context, but it's not like he's shoving it down your throat. He's providing serious leadership to help you grow and develop your business. And he had a podcast the other day, and he talked about how to carry momentum and how to keep momentum. And I listened to it while we were going through this. And I was like, this is some God timing right here. Like, this is what I needed to hear, because even though it feels like we're in the midst of something negative, it was like speaking to me that this is positive. We're going to get through this and we're going to be stronger. And like Mike said, we're going to see who our soldiers are. We're going to see the people who got up and picked up a gun and started shooting, and the ones that laid down or ran or went to the other team. Like, we are going to find out who is with us. And in Craig's podcast, he talked a lot about kind of like how when you've got momentum, these forces that are momentum, it is one of the most valuable things that we can have as an organization, right? Because creating momentum is hard. It's really hard. And he used an analogy about a rocket ship. If you see a rocket ship, they've got that gigantic like booster pack of fuel. And 90% of the fuel in a rocket launch is used before the rocket even leaves the atmosphere. And you see that thing fall off because it has to break away from that gravitational pull of the earth, that gravitational negativity pulling it back down. And it's got to use all this energy to get it. And once it's in space, it virtually doesn't have to use any fuel at all, because there's no forces in space. It can just keep moving forward. And so the same is true in our business. It takes a lot of energy and effort to get momentum. And truthfully, I feel like we have put in an insane amount of effort and energy. And now we have this magical thing, which is momentum, and we don't want to lose it. Now, there's 4 things that will block your momentum, forces that will block your more momentum. Number 1 is what's known, right? So those are the known things in existence that will slow you down. An example that Belle mentioned is it might be your schedule. You may not have set out that time to be able to hit your goals. That would be a known force. You may not have scheduled or blocked things out. You may not have gotten leads. So you need leads. That's a known force that will either make or break your momentum. So you have to identify and eliminate the things that are going to stop your momentum, those known forces. The second thing is what's safe. And you heard from both our leaders, they weren't talking about safe and comfortable and staying at their house. They're speaking life into you, the things they're going to achieve, the things they're going to attack, the things they're going to do, and the things they've been through in order to get here. Safety is a momentum stopper. If you feel safe and comfortable, you probably don't have momentum. Momentum resides outside of your comfort zone, as does growth. The third thing is what's easy. If it's easy, if you're just gliding along, it is a momentum killer, because eventually something is going to happen and it is going to stop your momentum. It is going to kill your momentum because you are taking it easy. Your momentum is gained from getting the hard stuff, doing the hard things. And finally, what's comfortable. Comfort is where momentum goes to die. It's where dreams go to die. I promise you, Mike Lewantowicz and Belle Crause are not comfortable. You heard them talking about it. They are not comfortable even in their present circumstances because they're striving for more. They want more out of this experience. They want to grow. They want to live. They want to those options like Belle was mentioning. They are afraid of the comfort zone. They see the comfort zone sneaking up on them. They get scared as hell. The comfort zone is a momentum stopper. So if you feel like all the known things are there, if you feel safe, if it feels easy, if it feels comfortable, beware. Those are your momentum stoppers and the things that will kill your momentum. Now let's talk about the things that will fuel and feed your momentum, because ultimately we've got it. Let's not F it up. Let's carry the momentum. Let's keep it going. Number one, momentum is ignited by vision. Belle did an incredible job talking about her vision for her family, her vision, how she created it. And so your vision is going to be different than what Belle's is. Yours might be different than what Mike's is. Now, I hope you're united with our goal of eliminating poverty. I don't know how you feel about poverty, but I'm against poverty. So we have the same general vision as a company, but your vision ties to your goals. What do you want to achieve? What does that look like? And it starts by thinking about it, talking about it, writing about it, and telling about it. You have to clearly define what you want. And the bigger it is, I've heard Andy talk about it a million times, the crazier the goal, the crazier the activity you'll match with it. If you have a small goal, you will have small activity and small momentum. But if you can get a big, hairy, audacious goal, the things you're willing to do, the things you're willing to sacrifice, it's almost an unwavering, white-hot vision to fulfill your mission will not stop you. So that momentum and that vision is necessary to keep going. The second thing to carry your momentum is activated by belief. You have to believe that you can get through it. You have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe that you can achieve these things. If you don't believe, if you don't think that you can write 100,000 in a month like Belle, guess what? You're not gonna. I'm just going to tell you right now, no, don't. He's a dream stomper. Bro, if you don't think you can do it, you want me to believe something you don't think you can do? That doesn't make any damn sense. You have to start by believing that you can achieve the things that you want, and it will carry your momentum. The moment you stop believing and thinking that you can accomplish it, you are in trouble, and you are going to be in a situation where you're going to start to lose that momentum, and you'll feel that drain on you. Now, another way to look at belief is through sacrifice. What are you willing to give up, right? What are you willing to sacrifice? Jake was willing to sacrifice his life as he went out and tried to save his children. He was willing to sacrifice it. And guess what? He achieved his goal of getting and saving his children. So what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you crazy enough to go out and work on Thanksgiving? Are you crazy enough to invest thousands of dollars into leads to get your goal? What are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice some Netflix time, some sports time? Are you willing to sacrifice some of these things in life to get those options, those things that Belle talked about, right? Are you willing to give up and sacrifice? Momentum is supported by systems, okay? One of our big systems went down last week. What did we do? We made new systems and strategies to work around it while we battled through it. Now, a lot of our systems are back and they're functioning and we're good. However, there's still some stuff. So we have to continue utilizing our systems as a team and as an organization to keep things alive. This call right here is a part of our system. Is your team on the call? Are they on the system? Are you on the calls? Are you at the hotspots? Are you participating in our system, which is the alliance system, in order to achieve, in order to maintain momentum? The moment you start steering from the system, the moment you start getting away from what is tried and true, and the reason Mike and Noelle Lewantowicz make millions of dollars, you're shooting yourself in your own foot. You're killing your own momentum by steering you and your team away from it, and you're robbing them of that opportunity to achieve the things you've opportunity. And the last thing in carrying your momentum is sustained by grit. We got some gritty sons of guns here at the Alliance. We are a gritty, scrappy bunch where you throw one punch at us, it's going to take more than one punch to knock me out. And it's the same way for our team, is that you have to have grit because like Mike mentioned, we've been through some stuff. And if that first time that some stuff happened to Mike, he gave up, he would not have a multi-million-dollar business with the Alliance. He is a gritty mofo. He has been through, and he just like the tip of the iceberg and the stuff he's grinded through. But he's got stories now. He's got calluses on his hands where he's been through it before. If you've been through it once, it doesn't hurt as bad the next time. So if this was your first time, welcome. You're now a little bit grittier. On the sandpaper scale, maybe you're a 300 now. So we're trying to get our grit up higher because it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make the wood smoother as you grind down on it. And that's really what adversity will do for you, is it will give you the gift of grit. It will give you that momentum. So my challenge for you, Alliance family, is how do you keep your momentum? How do you maintain it? How do you continue to go out there and kill it? And will you? Because this is a really easy time to lay down. There's a lot of good excuses where nobody's going to argue with you. Nobody's going to say, screw your family. Don't spend any time with them. And to be clear, that's not what we're advocating. But if your goals are big and crazy and you have a big why, maybe it's not a holla month, it's a holiday for you. And you go out, you get back on the horse and go continue trying to kill it. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's not you. Okay. And again, I'm trying to challenge you to reach your goals, not my goals. My goals don't have anything to do with this. These are your goals and what you are trying to achieve here at the Alliance. So I hope this was helpful. I know I got a ton out of what Mike and Belle had to say. Just incredible nuggets of gold, incredible writer downers. I'm just so thankful and grateful for our Alliance team. You see what your team is made of when you go through adversity, and it's been nothing but pure positive from our leadership. So I'm grateful for everybody battling through this with us. It ain't been easy, but by God, we are damn near through it. And there's more to come, I promise you. And we're going to continue hammering. We're going to continue making it happen. Andy's call starts at 2:30 today. If you're interested, we'll have that posted on the private Facebook. You can hear a man committed to growing his damn business. That'll be happening at 2:30. Feel free to jump on there, President's Club or not. Open invite to everybody so you can hear the master at work. And if I can do anything for you, as always, I'm available, making it happen. I'm in 24/7. Are you? Thank you, Alliance Nation. Thank you, Andy Albright. We are out. See y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a good one. See you, Mike. See you, Belle. Appreciate it.